The most expensive identity you can have is the one that requires constant spending to maintain. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the post notification for future videos. Watch the full video. Let's dive straight in.
Problem is the payments. It's gotten a little too crazy. I'm starting to not be able to handle it. Hey, how are you?
Good. I know you're flipped on your car. You have a BMW 8 Series, is that right?
It's an 850, yeah.
You're looking to get out of this car into a Honda? How much money did you put down in that car?
Total above 5,600.
And that car's a lease, right?
Yeah, I leased it for 39 months.
We took a look at your car. I know you owe $43,000 on it. Car's only worth about $35,000. The best option we got going right now is the Honda Prologue, the full EV.
I don't think I'm 100% sold on an EV just yet.
Let me educate you a little bit on that car. On the Honda Prologue itself, you have over $16,000.
If somebody says that, if a car salesman tells you that, run. Run, please, as fast as you can. Or hang up the call. Crazy.
Dates on that car.
That actually sounds insane.
If I put you in a 2-year lease or a 27-month lease on this car to bury your negative equity, how would that sound?
That sounds amazing. I gotta really see it to believe it.
When would you have an opportunity to come to the dealership and check out the car?
I'm free this coming Thursday at around 2 o'clock.
All right, I'll see what we can do with your car, and I'll have the new car ready for you. I'm going to keep them at a comfortable monthly payment and still have them driving a $56,000 car.
For you to go from a BMW to a Honda, it just shows me that you've hit rock bottom. And there's nothing wrong with that. Life is a big lesson. And what's worse than that is a fake rich lifestyle is built on monthly payments and daily validation. You bought this car not because of a means of transportation, but you bought it for clicks, likes, applauses. If this is not your biggest tool, you're going to be living this debt crisis and cycle year after year. And financial insecurity, right, often wears designer clothes or it has some sort of a emblem that it wants to portray to the world. If your confidence disappears with the logo, it was never confidence to begin with. You were cosplaying wealth. And when you keep playing this negative equity game, you will never build anything. You will always be running after a check. You will always be in the treadmill. You will always be working and being in a situation where you are enslaving yourself. People trying to be wealthy or people that are trying to be good in life, they try to get into assets. The fake rich, they buy evidence. And evidently, we know you couldn't afford this BMW.
I know what one of the most ridiculous things to me is and why this country is swimming in debt and why people are so behind financially. One of the reasons why is the ability that it is legal to roll negative equity from a previous vehicle that you own into a new car deal. I don't know why this was ever legal. We have to allow people to feel what they went through so that they learn a lesson. If you always allow people to just roll the negative, get out of a mistake without even having to think about it, sign a dotted line here and they move on with their life, they're never going to learn a lesson. And one day the lesson has to be learned. What do you mean a person came to a car dealership and traded in a car that they owe $16,000 on, but the dealer said it's only worth $9,000, so that's what they gave them on trade-in. And then the bank is allowing you to not only put $0 down on the new $30,000, $40,000 car that you want, they're also allowing you to roll the $7,000 of negative equity from the previous vehicle into the new vehicle loan. Why is this legal? I feel like it's only legal because if this wasn't happening, the car industry would literally topple over. That's the only reason that makes sense. The only reason that makes sense. The government allows this to happen because if they didn't, car manufacturers would go out of business. As of third quarter of 2025, it's reported that 30% of all cars traded in the United States have negative equity. Almost a third of every car being traded into a dealership to get a new car has negative equity. It's insane. Y'all gonna learn y'all lesson one day. You're gonna keep rolling, and one day you can't roll no more, and they're gonna roll over you. You're gonna learn your lesson.
This just screams to me how the parking lot has become a stage, and everybody is auditioning for a life they don't live, right? Everybody is trying to outdo each other. And if your goal is to look rich rather than be rich, you are going to be in this cycle of crisis every year. 33% of people, as you heard them, are in negative equity situations. And those people are going to keep living the same year, same decade, growing old and wondering why I've worked this much, made this much, and I have nothing to show for it. There's a reason why people are not accountable. It's because they have things that will save them from the lesson that they so desperately need to learn. There's also a reason why a lot of people that file bankruptcy will be bankrupt again and file it again within 5 to 7 years. It's because there's a cheat code. And when the government and the banks give you cheat code, it benefits them. And keep chasing these materials, keep chasing these cars, right? Because the more your image depends on expensive things, the poorer your future becomes.
Oh, and there's just nothing else that you can cut back on, boy. There's no more cutting back on Starbucks, coffees, subscriptions. It's nothing left. I'm out here managing and budgeting using the vending machine. I'm going days where I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna eat for lunch. I'm gonna wait till I get back home. Ain't nothing else left to cut out. It's crazy. I'm making the most money I probably didn't ever make. Ain't no probably. I didn't ever made. Yeah, I don't ever see it. It be gone. The bills be snatching it. I'm not even gonna say we not making enough money. Everything just too high. Ain't no way at 36 an hour, getting close to 40 an hour, you just barely making it. You just be having enough and maybe a couple hundred extra. That's crazy. What is going on?
I'm not gonna lie, he's not wrong. But the thing is that like things are way more expensive than they've ever been. After COVID, I feel like everything just went downhill. You had corporations double their profits. You had billionaire CEOs literally also double their net worth. Now puts us in this position where things are way more expensive. Gas is expensive, groceries are expensive, car prices are expensive. Things are only going to get worse. You have two options. You come together, you live together and get along, right? So you guys can split different things, or you live below your means and you avoid debt. But we live in a debt-based system. Everything requires debt. But then we also have to understand that a lot of people also are cosplaying and trying to get to success faster than any other generation through debt, through validation, through these materials, right? Because looking more successful is way more important than actually being successful. The world we live in and the culture we live in does not reward discipline, does not reward good decision making. It rewards display. The more things you have, the more successful you look.
Making a little bit of money for the first time, there are three main things that you have to do to protect yourself from maximum pain. First thing is very simple. Set aside minimum 30% for taxes. Do not touch it. I promise you, the IRS, the feds will kick your shit down if they do not get their piece, especially if you're running a business or you're trading, whatever the case might be. The taxes won't automatically get taken out of your pay or your income. So you need to make sure that you're on top of that. Also, honorary mention, get a good CPA. Number two is to not talk about it. All right, do not yap besides maybe like your mom and like somebody that you would trust with your life. Okay, I promise you, only bad things will come out of telling your boys, telling your girl, okay, especially if you're not that serious. Like, do not tell her, okay? The expectations, the relationship, the dynamics of everything will completely change. Trust me. Number three is try very hard to not experience lifestyle creep. Keep driving the beater. Stay at your apartment or at your parents' house, okay? Try to minimize, keep the cost of living as low as possible for as long as possible. As a general rule of thumb, do not increase your cost of living by more than like 10% a month.
This is great advice, because at the end of the day, this is the same advice that I would be giving my son or to any loved one that wants to listen. Everything requires sacrifice. Everything requires discipline. Taxes, he's coming to collect. Uncle Sam is coming to collect. That's number one, right? Number two is when you reach a pinnacle of success or a pinnacle of high income, you want to keep it private, because I've learned that people ruin beautiful things. And the reason why I say keep it to yourself is because people will always feel sorry for themselves instead of feeling good for you, right? Like instead of being happy for you after years of struggling, after years of grinding, after years of, not getting enough sleep because you had a passion to thrive, people will only try to shoot that down and try to say things that are negative to you to throw you off your game. That's why it's important to be around people that are important, right? If you want to soar like an eagle, you can't be around turkeys. People are never truly happy for you. Also, the last thing he mentioned is lifestyle inflation. When people make a lot of money, they start to live more than their means, right? They get the new apartment, they get the new car, they get the Beamer, they get the luxury vehicle, they start taking vacations, then that runs out, then they start getting into debt, and now you've created a lifestyle that is really suffocating. And debt is already stressful enough. That's why you have a generation and you have a people that are saying, hey, why do I make six figures but don't see it? Why do I make six figures but it feels like I make 30, 40K? Is because you've signed on for new obligations that require more of your time, more of your energy, and more of your money. So everything he said is spot on. Love it.
Don't make a lot of money. You know that? You know how they get wealthy? They own assets that go up in value that they can borrow against. You know why they can borrow against them? Because those assets spin off cash. Like Elon Musk borrowed $13 billion. Why do you think he did that? If he would have went and sold his stocks off to get the $13 billion cash, he would have had to pay taxes, right? It's a big loophole. You don't pay taxes if you don't sell it, if you just borrow against it. Does that make sense? And then the stuff he borrowed against, now he has a debt payment. How do you think he pays a debt payment? Because the thing that he bought with that debt produces enough cash to pay the debt. The debt is a write-off for the business. The cash that you pull out, you can do whatever you want with it.
This is what you call asset heavy and debt rich, because the tax laws were made by rich people for rich people to benefit the rich. That's all it was. And if you don't understand how taxes work, if you don't understand the difference between asset and liabilities, if you don't understand how interest works, then you are doing yourself a big disservice. But it stops with you buying these luxurious things that literally lose value the moment you pull them off the drive lot, right? And a luxury purchase can't repair a wounded identity, right? Your identity is to look rich rather than be rich. The rich people, or the people that want to get ahead, will use debt to buy assets, and then use that assets, which creates cash flow, then to buy the luxurious cars. There's no difference between you and a rich guy. He buys the same thing you want. He wants the same identity you want, right? And the next best thing for the rich is, once they have the money, they get into statuses. You're playing the game backwards, right? You're using debt to buy liabilities, and then you're going to use your hard-earned money to keep this lifestyle going, instead of using the biggest wealth creation tool you have, which is a 9 to 5, right, to get into assets. It's just a means of discipline and education. And the biggest enemy to that is your own pride, right? Is your own ego. Once you get that checked, once you understand, right, that the biggest flex isn't owning expensive things, it's just not needing them, then you will live that life. But everything we've learned is that there's always somebody buying a BMW that they can't afford, right? And then they have to use logic and reason after using emotion to buy a car that they should never have bought. And in this channel, we talk about the psychology on what drives these type of decisions. And these are all educational. What I want you to do is, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by mid-July. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hype these videos so we can get into front of people, and YouTube can push these videos to more like-minded people. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you. You're a special one in my heart. And with that being said, be good, do good. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.